Well, you've seen the headlines recently about Congress fighting about extending the unemployment insurance. You know, what we do in this country is, we have unemployment insurance. You lose a job and help you have a little money to pay your rent and stay alive, while you're looking for a new job. Well, now it's taking so much longer to get a job that the normal 6-9 months or whatever it is, isn't long enough for a lot of people. And there's now like 1.3 million people who are going to lose their unemployment insurance, and they still don't have a job. The recession has been so tough. Well, now Congress is saying, well, we won't pay for this, extra money unless you show me something else we could pay for it elsewhere in the budget. So I got an idea of where to look. Right in the unemployment money itself. If you go to the IRS website, just Google IRS stats, S-T-A-T-S, you will see that in the latest data available is 2011, that people are making $100,000 a year and collecting unemployment insurance. And if you just take it from them, because they don't need it, they can just get by no matter what they're living, that money accounts for $9 billion. See, they only need about $6 billion. The Congress saying, well, you got to find somewhere else in the budget to get the $6 billion to extend unemployment. We're not just going to give it to people. Well, why don't you take it from the people who don't need it right now in unemployment insurance? And that will pay for everything. But no, they'd rather argue politics and who the heck knows why they're arguing or what their motives are. But the money's right there. Clear and simple to me. There's people, a million of them need to pay rent to stay alive. And there's people making $100,000 and getting this money too. Why the heck are they getting it? They don't need it. Or here's another place, in Social Security. You realize that people making $500,000 or more are getting Social Security money. So they're getting free money from the government and they're making $100,000. That's $4 billion we give out there. So that could pay for it too. So we got ways to pay for it, but they're just looking in the right places. They're probably going after another poverty program to pay for this. Why don't we go after the more wealthy programs? It's a little more obvious to me, and that's what fuels the hatred in this country now, is because it doesn't seem fair. Why are they getting a government subsidy? They don't need it. And someone who's out of work for a year or 12 months, and really needs the help, they're going to take it away from them. But I guess that's Washington. Okay, I'm going to show you 5 dumb things that you're probably going to do in 2014, that's this year, right? That you're going to get ripped off for your money, right? There's so many people out there, who spend, hours and hours and hours trying to figure out how to get money out of your pocket, whether you need it or not, whether you need their service or not. And see, you don't know that. So these are 5 areas that a lot of people get ripped off because they don't know their options, okay? We're going to go through all of them, and every one I cover, we have a separate video on YouTube that covers this, so you can see the more details. I'll try to give you as much help I can in this short rendition, so you could follow up on it. But if you want to see longer versions of each of these items, they're on YouTube at youtube.com Matthew Lesko 70. Okay, youtube.com/Matthew Lesko 70, and they're there. All our videos are there. Okay, the first one is getting a loan from a tax preparer. That's right. So you go down to H&R Block or one of these tax preparing people, and then you say, oh, I have a refund coming. Then they try to sell you a loan. They're going to sell you a loan because you have money coming. They're going to guarantee you, say, hey, we'll give you money now, and you just pay a little extra. Well, that little extra, look at this, is like 100% interest you're paying. That's right. See, like a car loan, if you go out and take a loan for a car, that's like 4% or something like that. Man, you're going to go with a tax preparer, and if they lend you money, that's going to be like 100%. But it sounds easy. They'll give you money right now, so they're just playing on your convenience. And you got the most expensive loan in the world, okay? So you don't want to do that. Okay, and actually getting free tax services too. I mean, the IRS even estimates that 70% of Americans could get their taxes done for free. So if you're making up to 50 grand or around there, you could have professional tax help. Walk in and they'll fill them out for free. So why go to these places anyway? And then there's things on the site, and then that's another thing we'll cover a little more detail later. But don't take a loan. So if you're using a professional tax preparer, no loans. Okay, here's another one. Don't give your name to freecreditreport.com. Oh, would it be great to get your credit report, what that looks like and all that kind of stuff? So we have these ads out there, the people singing in the songs about freecreditreport.com and all that kind of stuff. No, because what you're doing is they're getting the information for free and they're giving to you, but they get your name. They're selling your name and they're going to hound you to buy something or whatever, because if you're worried about money, they're going to have people calling you for more money. So, getting you your free credit report comes with a lot of strings. Instead, you could go to the website that authorized by the government, because under law, they have to give you your credit report for free, okay? And what you do is you go to annualcreditreport.com. annualcreditreport.com, and you get it for free. You don't have to give your name, and you won't be barraged by everybody selling you money or problem solving techniques or whatever the heck they say. They're making money off your name, and that's it. So don't go to freecreditreports.com, okay? And we have a video on that too, at YouTube. So that's youtube.com/Matthew Lesko 70. Okay, here's another one. Okay. Now, don't ever give money to lawyers or businesses or anybody that's going to help you with your invention, because you have to find the free help first. So you're sitting there with an idea, an invention or something. Oh, and you see an ad. Oh, inventors wanted, or whatever. And you call them up, and they're sweet people, and they pretend they're your best friend, and they're going to help you make zillions of dollars. Don't do that. There's free help, for that. And there's experts that get grants to help you with that, idea you have, and how to protect it, and how to do a market study, and how to find, businesses that will develop it for you. All this kind of stuff you can get for free. These people are selling stuff that you could get for free, but you don't know about the free stuff because they're not advertising, right? So if the only thing you know is somebody who's advertising and spending a lot of money to find you, they got to get that money back. The people that are doing it for free don't get money from you, so they can't spend a lot of money. You have to do some work in finding them, but you can. We got a video on that today. But they're called business development centers, and they're all over the world. Well, actually, over the country, there's about 3,000 of them, business development centers, and they're free. They do the same thing, and I think better, And so they don't work for you, then you spend your money. You have to do this first, okay? So that means you don't give money to lawyers or businesses that are going to help you with your invention before you check out the free stuff, okay? That's the third way you're going to save money this coming year. Okay, here's another. You got student loan debt? Now, there's more student loan debt out there than there is credit card debt, okay? So don't give money to anybody who's going to help you with your student loan debt, because there are government programs already set up to help you. A lot of these companies are charging like $1,600 just to call the government for you to get rid of some of your student loan debt. So that's silly, isn't it? You don't have to do that. Okay, and a good way to find out how to deal with that is through consumerfinance.gov. Go to consumerfinance.gov and put in, search for repay student debt. So consumerfinance.gov and then repay student debt. And you'll find all you need to know about getting the programs, getting deferred, getting some of the money that you owe, erased, all this kind of help. It's already there under law, and these people are ripping people off. There's a report for the National Consumer Law Center that shows that you're tied up with these people. It's going to cost you a lot of money for the same thing you could do for free, the price of a phone call, right? So don't do that. You're already in debt. You don't want to give somebody else more money because you need that money if you're in debt. Okay, and we also have a video on that on YouTube. That's at youtube.com/Matthew Lesko 70. Okay, and student debt. Okay, so that's 4 already. Okay, now, don't give money to anybody who says they got a great business idea and you're gonna make $1 million out of it. As long as you give them money. There's so many. You start, Google or whatever, starting a business or want to start a home-based business. There's so many hucksters out there, preying off that need, that you perceived need that you have, that will charge you hundreds or even thousands of dollars to something that sounds logical, and something that says, yeah, that sounds like I could do that, and that's stupid. Most of that is going to fail. It's not going to do anything. They're making money, doing this, and if you're even just thinking about doing that somewhere, get it checked out. And you can by one of these business development centers. You just call up a small business development centers that have experts to help you evaluate that or whatever. But man, actually, don't do anything. Don't evaluate them. Go to these development centers and ask about, hey, I want to start a business. They'll help you start legitimate businesses for free. So that's small business development centers, and they're all over. They're government subsidized. They get grants from the government to help you start a business at home. That's right. So you want to start a cooking business, you want to start a web-oriented business. So you get professional help of somebody who's not going to be selling you anything at all, doesn't make a penny. You're not going to give them any money at all. They're just there to give you their best advice, and these are experts in the field. They see hundreds of people doing this all the time, and so you might as well use the free one first. And we have a video on that, on YouTube too, that explain it more. But that's the most important thing. You don't want to do it. And actually, our video on that is a fellow who got caught in like 4 or 5 of these kind of scams. He'd try one, and he wastes $400. Try another one, wastes $400. And the video is great because it shows how stupid, and he admits how stupid he was trying all these things that really don't work at all. They're getting the money. The hardest thing, what they don't tell you, is that you have to find customers. And there's no shortcut to that. You think it's easy. Give somebody a bunch of money and all your problems are solved. Nah. So don't do any of these things. Keep your money. Get real. Get through the nonsense that's out there. Everybody trying to get money from you because they think, hey, I have an easy way for you. There's no easy thing in life, right? It's just going to take hard work. So get the real information. Get the real data you need to go forward. And that's why the sources I talked about will give you that, not the hucksters. Geez, I think I'm a huckster too, aren't I? If you're going to choose just one video of mine to watch this next one coming up. His name is Sidney Armani. And this guy is a hotshot out in Northern California, in Silicon Valley, and a venture capitalist and everything. And he's sort of an older kind of guy. He's been around the road for a while. But he too believes, like I do, that this crowdfunding on the internet is probably going to be the next biggest thing that's going to hit America, the globe, or wherever the heck you are. And it really democratizes money for people to do anything. You don't need credit, you don't need experience, you don't need anything, just the gumption to try it. And it doesn't cost anything to try it. Now, he has a website that's trying to organize all this information. It's one of the best websites I've seen. It looks better than CNN's website or whatever. It's really a slick kind of website that keeps up on all the developments. Plus, he's getting involved in crowdfunding for real estate and things like that, so the little guy can get in on big deals or whatever. And that's, but as an overall picture of what's going on, what you don't want to be is the last one in the world to take advantage of this opportunity. And that's what's going to happen right now. So the elites and the smart people, the people are on the front end of things and trying all the, they're seeing this, and they're taking advantage of it and doing quite well. And see, what's neat about this is it doesn't matter if you fail. You try it and you're going to learn something because it doesn't cost you any money. So watch this interview. Well, Sidney Armani, man, I just think your website, crowdfundbeat.com, now this is just the nicest website I've seen on not only crowdfunding or getting money from the internet, but just on anything. I mean, obviously you put so much time and love into this website. It is so easy to read. You have so much information. It's presented so nicely. I am so jealous. You're going to get me out of the information business because you're doing it so well, man. But the crowdfunding issue, it's obviously part of your heart, and I see that you believe in what this has to offer to the rest of the community, don't you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Matthew, thank you for having me at your show. I appreciate it. I have to disclose here that I am one of your fan, and
Oh, you're the one.
I mean, from the days that you were in the Larry King show, and I was one of those people. You create this monster here a little bit. I was one went bought your book, and I have it here in my library, and the thing was the best information. Was all this about. It's just before anybody was out there giving information to the public, you were in the front of all these things going on. So hey, I'm your students.
Thank you so much. But I mean, that's why I'm excited about crowdfunding, and it's fun to find you because you are really building, many different platforms to, encourage the communities, no matter who you are, to teach people about it. And I think that's what has to be done because, the rich people are going to find this quickly and take advantage of it because they know a good things when it sees them. Now, when they see it, but the rest of the world, doesn't have time, and so they have to be educated. And could you explain why you think that this is such an important idea in almost any community?
Yeah, well, I mean, I always, start with something, and I go to these conferences and trying to, pass what I learned in this crowdfunding about a 2 year right now, being involved in around the world, basically, and learn about it academically. What I found out, it's nothing. I always start to say, this is nothing new. They figured out this crowdfunding from century. When you go to church in the end of the day, when they pass the plate, that's crowdfunding. You're paying your money to the government. That's you're crowdfunding the government. So we've been doing all this thing, all these, you want to build something in a local basis, they vote. Now, what happened with this crowdfunding? It just gave the power to the crowd. So it's not so much about raising money. It's about different situations. You can do crowd collaborate, and if instead of building some machine or something like that, somewhere out of the overseas, you can just kind of say, this is what we want, this is how we want to build us. So they crowd become very powerful. They pay for it, they wait for it. And that's what I found out about. It's very important because the community can basically raise money, and raise money for very school projects, playground. You can see those high school, in any local basis, high school, they need money for. So this is very, very, the way of, instead of going door to door selling lemonade, you can just say, go to my crowdfunding site, so everybody contribute.
But it sounds like what you're saying is that the people can decide that this is a good thing to do and encourage it to happen by putting up money up front for someone to make it happen, right?
Exactly. And if it's not a bad idea, so people don't like it. It's not that, so that's the beauty of it. It's so the other side of it, something good idea, whatever it is, people see it. It's just basically, and this, if it's a bad idea, well, good luck to you, and you can try again. And it's not a bad, by the way, that's not a bad idea also, because once you go to the platform, it doesn't happen. I said, don't get discouraged because you have data. You know what people like.
Well, I don't know about your life, Sydney, but mine is full of failures. I mean, I've written 100 books, but only 10 have made any money. So I know I'm wrong 90% of the time.
No, but you know what? Listen, I'm here in Silicon Valley, and a lot of these people, they started, and that and there's a lot of these people, they're illusional optimists, and but if they were not illusional optimists, we wouldn't have this Apple, we wouldn't have any of these element that we have in our daily life. You have to imagine, so it's, first time you fail, there's a lot of company, you started again. But back to the crowd, this is very powerful because you start with your social network. You have an idea, you want to do a concert. It doesn't need to be a product. You want to do something for your community, whatever it is, and helping somebody, has raising. I mean, we have a story, you're talking about crowdfunding, and we put a lot of this in story. We find that 11 years old raise money for a cancer patient.
Wow,
I mean,
11-year-old child.
yeah, it's an 11 years old child. I mean, he started the campaign, and and then somebody had a cancer, or some dog need to be rescued. So these element works. People look for these kind of a good story, and we in America, we're very generous. We always help in something happen to Haiti and other earthquake happening somewhere else.
Right.
We're very generous. I mean, people. So we have to start. We have to see around ourselves. in our community, so this is a good stuff. It's a very, it's not all about the money, and it makes money if you have a good idea, if you have a product, but also it helps the community. It gives you a power of, as a crowd, be a part of it. So it's very important.
It seems to me it gets rid of gatekeepers who are in charge, whether it's a bureaucrat deciding how the money's going to go out, or a politician, or a venture capitalist, or something like that. Who decides everything. This way, the people who want it done decide.
Yeah, well, it's a playing field. It's become level because the old days of, let's say, the politicians starting doing crowdfunding too, because and you got to go over there. If you pay money, you have to have a video. You have to know what's going on. But basically, you used to go and get big check from the big corporation, big other thing. Now they don't do that. They have to go get it from the crowd, and crowd has to see it, whether they like you, whether you have something for them. So it's a great thing, and all these things come together because we went right now 2014. We're going to this social networking allows you that first you start with your community, your family. If you have an idea, shoot it on the Facebook, tweet it for you. So you have these followers, and then you go, other people pick up the stories, and always people look for a good story, whatever. You're trying to help a cancer patient somewhere, you're trying to help a dog get home from somewhere. It's just a beautiful thing.
No, I love those stories. Yeah.
Yeah, we put those stories right there in the crowdfunding.
Do you have any feeling, can you say what in recent history this is like? Like, how important do you think it is? I mean, it is something in their recent past that this could equate to that you've seen. I mean, you're out in Silicon Valley, you see a lot of stuff happen out there, yeah? Well, how important do you feel this can become?
And that's a good question. Thanks for asking. I've been here in the heydays of the Silicon Valley, when the computers, they all, desktop, then we had to laptop, now we have all this mobile, and it's just a lot of things happen here, telecommunication, phones. I don't think anybody has phone at home anymore. Everybody uses their cell phone. I mean, so it's very, so this is a very important element of a lot of companies. What I know, a lot of big companies, they're looking to this, from IBM to the big boys are in here. They're looking to this very, the car right now, one of the manufacturing, Ford and Chrysler, they're looking for this crowdfunding and crowd collaboration. So they want, so it's a big corporation. This is very involved. It's just not a film industry. So they want to build a car basically, and they don't want to be building a car and put it in the shelf, put it in, dealership, say, hey, this is the car, have it.
Right.
They want to know what the crowd likes it. They get involved in early stage. They put some money down. They can, communicate with their audience. So it's involving something. That's what it's all about. Is revolutionize. So you let's say there's another company. You put your investment for what you believe.
Yeah.
Let's say you're buying a diaper. You're finding, hey, these diapers are good for your kids. Not that I have those. I'm past. I'm glad I'm past that. But let's say you buy, but it's true. You like P&G, Procter and Gamble. They have these. So let's say you want to buy this particular. The brand is good. So you invest in this company. Invest in what you believe. So it's got a lot of these angle on that crowd collaboration, crowdfunding, crowdsourcing.
Right. And these are the fat cats doing it. So they could buy anything they want, but they realize this free stuff is better.
Exactly. I mean, they see it is good. They take it home and say, hey, this is good. What can I invest on it? Used to go to basically, to in stock market, a lot of things they want to invest at the given. Now they can directly invest in these companies, and for the new products. And I want to have, and I interview a lot of people. Somebody said, I said, how did you build this thing? He said, well, that's good. I said, well, how did you come up with this idea? So, well, my best idea come from the crowd. The crowd will tell me, hey, do you remember this happened in a Batman? The phone did like that. I said, oh yeah, you can do that. So it's very important, this element. So to go back to your question, what do I think about? This is going to be a big revolution about the crowd collaboration, crowdfunding. Movie industries are getting to this. They want to know what's the big buzzword is. What's the
We got to run. Let me make sure that people know where to find you. It's crowdfundbeat.com, right? And you have a
yeah, they go to www.crowdfund, CROWDFUND, beat, BEAT. They can go and we have a lot of article, we have a lot of data, but they can go to a lot of these article, put this search word. Let's say somebody wants to get to the real estate. That's one of the element that works in the crowdfunding, because you can buy a real estate. So
Right.
they put this real estate and they get a lot of art.
I see how excited you are, Sydney. So am I. That's the way to be. We could sit here and scream at each other, but my film ran out. Okay. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Matthew, and I wish all of your listeners continue. I'm going to watch, and all the best in 2014 and behind.
Wonderful. Take care, Sydney. Glad to have you there.
Thank you.
Okay, so I hope Sydney gave you enough spark to get out there and try this. There's dozens, even hundreds. There's going to be thousands of sites like this to try. So people who think they have a great idea, like you probably have a great idea, like these people did, and they didn't have to go through the bureaucratic hurdles and, big money people or big companies or whatever, to get money to perform on their big idea. They just went to the internet, and like a month they got like $50,000, to get money to fulfill their idea, and then they produce the products, and they'll be in business before you know it. Actually, now that I'm filming this, they only have like 3-4 days left, where they're going to get that money, and they already got the money, and it's a cool product, actually. I mean, they're young people, they have a science background, and what they figured out was really like, if you take the right kind of nap, we really become more powerful during the day. Yeah, and so many times, I don't know if you ever take a nap, when you're woken up quickly and then, oh man, you have a grogginess. They call it sleep inertia. This grogginess takes like an hour to get over, so you're not really, effective, for that hour after you take that nap. But in our life nowadays, you're a busy mom, you're a student and need to take a nap so you can get power back and study or whatever, or your world economy, dealing on your internet, and people all over the world are up all kinds of nights and days and things like that to deal. So your sleep patterns are going to be all screwed up. So wouldn't it be great to just take a 20-minute nap now and then, but be woken up in the right way, just like you had a night's sleep. And these goggles that they've done, and it's like almost nothing, I mean, like $50-$60 or whatever, that they wake you up gradually. They're timed, they have gadgets in them. I don't even understand the technology, but they figured it out. But more importantly, how you now can go right to the internet and get money for your project no matter what it is. So watch this. Well, Neil Jacklakar, and you got an amazing product here. I can't believe it. For someone as energetic as me, I'm always looking to recharge my batteries, and you got now this nap well, right? You're going to make me take a nap and be 40% more efficient than I ever was before. How do you do this stuff? What is this thing about? I mean, it's just a terrific thing.
No, absolutely. So the Napwell is actually the world's first napping mask that we're excited about. So what it does is it helps
a
you nap.
napping mask?
A napping mask.
So the one little thing you put on your eyes, but it's to take a nap, but
so
it's different.
A sleeping mask, but it's like the kind you get on an airplane.
Yeah.
But it's designed specifically for napping.
Napping. So what makes it different than just putting a black sock on your eyes?
So a lot of it is actually the process of waking you up out of sleep. So the Napwell actually has lights that are built into the mask that slowly become brighter to actually wake you up like a sunrise.
Wow. So in other words, the theory, reading your thing, is that people, when they take a nap, they all of a sudden, are woken up or something out of the middle of a sleep, and they lose efficiency for like an hour after they get up, right?
Exactly. So when you wake up from sleep and you have sort of that lousy post-nap, groggy headache sort of feeling that I used to always get, it's actually called sleep inertia. There's technical
sleep
term
inertia.
And so it happens when you wake up. So when you're sleeping, there's sort of two cycles. there's REM and non-REM cycles. So sort of deep sleep and not as deep sleep. And so the key is actually waking up in those not as deep sleep sort of cycles to avoid that feeling.
So now there's something, I mean, so you have like little lights or something inside the mask that slowly turn on as the timing, I mean, you set the time, like you want to sleep for a half hour, right?
Exactly. So it's sort of like a reverse alarm clock. Instead of setting the time when you wake up, you set the time for how long you want to sleep.
Oh.
And then about 10 to 15 minutes before you're supposed to wake up, the lights slowly become brighter and brighter.
I see.
By the time you're ready to wake up, your body is sort of react to that light and you're out of that deep sleep and you'll wake up without the headache.
Wow, so you're ready to go by that time instead of foggy as hell for 30 minutes or something like that.
Exactly.
Oh, that's terrific. Now, I mean, it seems you and your partner are guys who've been studying sleep like for a lot of your short lives already, right?
Absolutely. One thing that we're really excited about, and I think since sleeping is such a common activity, is that sort of figuring out sort of the data behind it to figure out how sleep can make you more productive, and not just in terms of not getting enough sleep, but sort of the added benefits of these like short power naps.
Well, I guess our lives are so complicated nowadays that sometimes a good night's sleep isn't always possible, but we may have a half hour or an hour somewhere and we could do this, and it's like recharging a battery with no side effects.
Exactly. What's interesting is that even if you do sleep enough at night, napping still helps you by sort of boosting your ability to retain new information and your creativity. So you can think of it sort of like an alternative to a caffeine.
Wow, so Starbucks is going to buy you out. Get rid of
We're ready
you.
for Starbucks to sort of have a little napping pod.
I see. They should have a napping pod for that. So, but really, instead of we go for that caffeine when we feel a little, sluggish, and you're saying we could take a little nap, put these on, and we'll be more refreshed than even caffeine.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, and so you're two young guys, been working on this thing, and now your partner, he's got some fancy education thing he's involved in now too.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me tell you a little bit more about me, because I actually introduced myself. So my name's Neil Joglekar. I'm a Stanford engineering graduate. I live out in the Bay Area, and I work with my partner Justin Lee, who's unfortunately couldn't be here right now.
He's taking a nap, right?
Exactly, he's taking a nap. That's basically our job. So he's actually a PhD candidate in a joint Harvard Medical School MIT program.
Wow. So you guys aren't fooling around. I mean,
yeah, he's the serious one.
You only have a degree from Stanford.
I just get to have conversations like that.
But more importantly, I mean, you took an idea like this, which is obviously very important, and will be a boom not only for people driving, but people in our lives. I mean, how do we everybody's walking around, it seems half groggy, I think, because they don't get enough sleep, and everyone in Congress should have it. This is what you may want to find this information is the president. Lewinsky. Why is my name? My boys were in the White House with him, but what's his name? Clinton. Bill Clinton says the problem with Congress is nobody has time to sleep. Nobody's taking. And so if we give one of these masks to everybody in Congress, they'd be a lot more productive and a lot better off. No, and that he made a big issue out of that once, and it was a very serious comment. It wasn't a flip kind of thing.
Also, one of the exciting things is that the crowdfunding and Kickstarter model actually allows you to connect with those that back the project early. And we've been really excited by sort of the use case scenarios they've been sharing with us. So some interesting ones are sort of frequent flyers who want to get over jet lag faster.
I see. Wow, that's right. Yeah.
Or physicians, for example, who are in, they have very, very long shifts at the hospital, and they just want to take a short power break to help them, because you don't want your surgeon sort of groggy while he's sort of operating.
But a busy mom come home from work, and if she spends 45 minutes with a power nap, she's ready for the kids for the rest of the night too.
Exactly. And sort of the most interesting one, or sort of out of the blue one, was actually someone from the U.S. Navy. And so one problem is that when someone's in a submarine, there's sort of no light cues to regulate sort of when you're supposed to be awake and when you're supposed to be asleep.
Right.
And he thought that A
You're
mass
right.
like this would sort of, these.
No,
lights-
you're absolutely. I was a ship driver, and at the time we would have, we'd be 4 hours on, 8 hours off, 4 hours. So one day you're working at midnight, next day you're working at 2 in the morning. Who the hell knows when you're working? It could be noon. And every day is different. So if I could get a little power and I can get a little juice but I mean the creativeness and the effectiveness of someone, I think that is so important in our lives, and we don't have an understanding of that. And what it seems to me you're doing is having a device now that makes us, really happier people, because we're more productive. Now, what you mentioned something early. Now you went on crowdfunding, Kickstarter, and God, in 2 weeks you got almost all your money already. I mean, that's embarrassing. I hope you're not spreading that around. I mean, it looks like. Don't you know better? Why didn't you ask for more, you stupid kid?
So the beauty of crowdfunding is that once you set a goal, you can surpass that goal. It doesn't stop.
They're still shoving it in. But why did you choose, crowdfunding to try to raise money for this?
So I think crowdfunding is actually interesting for a few reasons. The first is that it really helps you validate sort of your idea. So Justin and I always thought the nap well, first of all, we thought napping was a problem. And then we thought that the nap well was a good solution, but we weren't sure. Sure, we would buy it. Our parents would buy it.
Right.
But can we get people we don't know who don't have any sort of connection to us to actually buy it? And so crowdfunding actually gives you that opportunity. You sort of create the campaign, you put it online, and then people you don't know independently decide whether to buy or not. And so you don't need to go through the trouble of manufacturing, having boxes of napping masks in your house without the knowledge that someone's actually going to want it.
Yeah.
And so crowdfunding has really, really helped us with that.
And so to find it, you're always at napwell.com, napwell.com, right?
Correct.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you so much, dude.
No problem. Take care. Thanks for having me.
Okay, what do you think of that? Or did you sleep through the whole thing? Well, maybe you did. But I mean, the most important thing about this is not only that you have a way to take better naps, but you have a way to get better money. And that's what the internet is providing. You ever hear of the Foobler? You probably haven't, but you will soon. Actually, it's a cool little dog feeding toy. It's like a round little ball, like a little soccer ball, and there's like 6 compartments in it, and there's a timer, and every compartment, it moves, like you could set it for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 90 minutes, or whatever, and the food comes out, every 30 minutes. A bell goes off, the dog hears it, and it goes over the ball and has to play with the ball to get the food. So it keeps a dog really fed and happy all day because he's got this ball to play with that will give him food every half hour, or however you want to feed him. And you're out working or doing whatever the heck you can. And these guys that developed it, what they also believe is that, they got like $70,000 or more on the internet to make this product. In other words, they made a prototype, and then now they went on the internet, through crowdfunding, and got all the money to go into production. Because then, they get money from people on the internet, not from fat cats, not from venture capitalists or people telling them what to do, but from the market. This is real people giving them money. And it costs really nothing, to use these websites to get that kind of money. So if you have an idea, you could do that. And this is the new way to get any idea out there. But more importantly, all the development that it took for this little magic kind of ball they had, he believes that you could get actually all that kind of help for free if you have some extra time. Some is some technical stuff that they had to get, and they maybe paid for it, maybe not. If they had more time, they didn't have to. So that's another neat thing about what's available out there. Everything you need to produce that, that prototype or whatever it is that you want to show on the internet, so you could get that money. You could get all that for free too. But more importantly, watch him explain how he did it and how he got all that money. Oh, Fred Schechter, man, I think when you leave the house every day, you must have 1 million dogs following you down the street, just want this new dog feeder toy you got.
Yes,
it's just
the trick is not to keep the kibble in your pants when you're walking around.
But it's it's wonderful. I mean, a creative idea. So when you have one there, put it up there.
Yes, indeed. Let me put the lid right on here. It's that quick. This is
God.
the original prototype.
You put the food in there, 6 different compartments, and yeah, that's it, 6 5. And then there's a timer every 15, 30, or 90 minutes. It goes to a new compartment, and the dog plays with it, and the food falls out. Huh?
That's exactly right. It's up on Kickstarter right now.
Right.
So yeah, the timer and all the hardware. You can hear that bell.
Yeah.
Just takes 2 batteries.
Wow.
There's the bell.
So the bell tells the dog it's going to do it again, right?
Exactly. And that is all the electronics in the unit.
Wow. And the rest is washable?
The top part.
Yeah.
All
Wow.
washable.
Now, so in other words, I could leave the house all day and my 2 dogs would be fed.
Yeah, that is exactly right. That's what we aim for. We want you to be able to have a dog who's happy, healthy, not overfed, properly fed, and has something to do.
But I mean, that's the important thing. They're doing something instead of just sitting on their butt and eating stuff in their yap, huh?
Exactly. They actually, what we typically see is a dog will both swat at it with their paws, and then they'll hit it with their head or their nose, and it's actually pretty cool, and they can really move it around pretty fast.
Well, I've seen these timers for, you fill up the puppy chow thing, and it it goes on a timer and puts it in a bowl, right?
Exactly. So they're not doing anything different beyond the time delay.
Yeah.
So what we have, it'll hold up to 2 cups.
I see.
But for an example, I'll show you a few marbles here.
Nothing up your sleeve.
Nothing up my sleeve. So we'll just drop them in. Easy enough to wiggle around, roll around. And when they do that, let's see if I put it in the right chamber that's open. Of course not.
So you have to have a smart pet owner, not a smart pet.
It's got to be time right. Right though.
I see. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So I mean, but actually, this is your idea. You and your buddies. This is your first idea. That's the prototype. You're getting ready to go to market, but people can get on like the pre-market deal, right? Right
Exactly.
now on
So
Kickstarter.
With Kickstarter, as you're well aware, it's crowdfunding. So basically, you're pre-purchasing a product that's going to come out. The final product will be 10 millimeters smaller than this in diameter, and that's our first model with the bell. We have a stretch goal, what they call on Kickstarter, where if we raise $80,000, we will have a new model that will work with a Android or iOS phone.
Wow.
But that's only if we raise 80,000.
Yeah, but I mean, you were going for 40, and now you already have 53, right?
We already blew through 40. Yeah, it was really exciting. We had a lot of great response from our fans, and that's been really great. My teammates, we all used to design together at Sharper Image, so we're a little familiar with design.
Yes.
So this is what we've done.
Well, I mean, you've been with the big guys, Sharper Image and stuff like that, and so you've seen products come and go. What made you decide to use a funding source like Kickstarter instead of just going to Fat Cat or somebody or Veggie? You know all these people.
Well, part of the focus for us has been how do we get something that's ours and do it without a bunch of capital that just that we get from somebody. And this was the easiest route to go. We have a wonderful partner in the factory that we're using. So they've actually made things a little easier for us. But even still, if we hadn't done that, we've already raised enough money to have done this all on our own.
By yourself.
And that's the real key with Kickstarter. We budget in terms of the target goal as well as the pricing to make sure that when people come and pre-buy a Fugler, that they can actually get us to the point where we can do this on our own.
I see.
And
so by selling you'll probably sell a couple thousand of these just on the internet now. So that's money to go into production.
Almost to 1,000 already. We may be over with some of the double purchases because you can't buy 2 at a time. Our backer count is somewhere north of 900 right now. So 1,000 isn't a crazy idea, and hopefully far many more thousands very soon.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's 1,000 people, for sure want the hell out of this thing.
Exactly.
Not just your mother-in-law.
Yeah, the most exciting, though she does want it.
I
The most exciting part is, so a lot of them have been behaviorists, veterinarians, and shelters who want it for their dogs.
I see.
We designed a product for Dr. Sophia Yin. She's a veterinary specialist and a behaviorist in Davis, California. We had actually designed a product for her years ago.
This is the
and
dog
then
whisperer person?
I'm sorry?
That's the dog whisperer lady?
She's not the dog whisperer,
I see.
but she's very well known, Sophia Yin. And we brought it to show her, and she let her dogs play with it, and they loved it. She really loved the approach we took. We used a lot of the information she'd given us years ago and said, okay, now how would we feed a dog right? And she's really supported us.
So it's a product that's not just it's not a gimmicky product, as it appears maybe to some people, but it's a serious, dog product. I mean, for scientists study the behavior of animals or really appreciate what you've done.
They really do, because, what we're really pushing is that dogs can forage for their food. They can go and get their food. They can interact. They, you put it in a different room every time if you want. They've got something to go do. Even if you leave it in just one room, it's nice that they know they have something they get to interact with to get their food, and it's a little more rewarding for the dog as well.
Yeah. Although on the crowdfunding thing, what advice would you give somebody who wanted to start? They have their idea now. I mean, there are a bunch of younger people like you. They say, "Hey, I just left my job. We got these great ideas. What were you to tell them to do next?"
Well, first go make some prototypes. Break a bunch of stuff. Like if you haven't done 10 prototypes,
I see. You're not there. Yeah.
Once you have something that you can show somebody, they understand how it works, that you don't know, or a friend that heard you were doing something and they go, oh, is this how it works? They take it apart and they don't destroy it instantaneously, then you're on the right track. And then more than anything, when you do a crowdfunding campaign, budget. And you need to put all those things that you need for your crowdfunding campaign in your target goal. Everything from
budget.
shipping.
You mean like budget? What do you mean? There's
So,
money?
Budget for tooling, budget for
I see.
packaging, budget
How
for
much this is
shipping.
going to cost? You mean how much you have to raise?
So when you're giving a price point, when you're giving a target goal for your crowdfunding campaign,
I see.
you can do those things the right way and really perform at a close to professional, if not professional level.
So understand what it's going to cost you is what you mean.
Exactly. We went round and round. I did 3 different versions of our movie that was on Kickstarter before we finally went and got a pro guy to do it. And I'll tell you, and we paid a very reasonable sum to somebody who did an amazing job.
Yeah.
And we are so thankful. And that was literally the icing on the cake to make. I'd done some good videos.
Yeah.
And just bringing in the extra pro on that, a world difference. If you can't do that, just keep editing your movie. You'll get there.
Yeah.
There are cheap ways to get around it, and there are expensive ways to get around it. The money will buy you time and a little bit of professionalism, but you can do it the hard way if you read all the articles that are out there. It's a lot of work. Don't kid yourself. And then the other thing is build your social media campaign. Start a year before. Have a site. Have a Facebook page. Have a Twitter feed. Get a following. Get your clout score north of 50. Hopefully north of 60. And go for it. And that's something that's going to really help you when you get to market. And you push it out to all your fans, and they go, "Oh my gosh, it's finally here!"
That pent-up demand, you create that.
It really is. It really
So
is.
now to get the Foobler, we could get it through your website, and that will direct us to Kickstarter, right?
Yes. So our website, thefoobler.com, will take you directly to Kickstarter. Also, you can just go to Kickstarter and type in Foobler. That's FOOB as in boy, LER.
Great.
And you'll go right in there.
But Foodler right there, Ed, but this will be up for a while, so people can always find you at thefoodler.com, right?
Thefoobler.com, yes. For now, we have 10 more days left of the campaign. When this airs, it's maybe 9 or 8. but please share it, obviously. That
Yes.
helps us as much
Yes.
as buying.
Yes.
The sharing is really important.
Yes, yes. Help the dogs in America, right? Or all over the world.
Really, obese dogs, this is great because you can really control how much they eat.
Right, exactly. Dogs are getting fat. They have the same problem as people now, I think.
And as well for diabetic dogs too, because
Oh
you
my
got to remember
God.
you need to feed them little bits a lot,
Yeah.
and now you can do that without
Wow.
sitting there and worrying that they're being fed regularly and
Exactly.
they're getting enough exercise to go get their food as well. Not
Okay,
enough,
well,
but
everybody should
they're
go to
doing something.
thefoobler.com, right?
Yes, indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much.
My pleasure. Take care. Okay, so if you have a pet, you probably want a foodler, huh? Actually, that's the other thing about buying these products on the internet when they're introduced. You get a bargain. Well, you know, it's going to be a discount like 20, 30% or even more, you know, than when they hit the shelves. Plus, you're the first one on the block with one of these things and a happy puppy. Okay, now here's an interesting thought. Why marry a millionaire when you can just be one? Actually, there's a website here, and this next interview I'm going to show you, this young woman has a website. Her name is Wendy Robbins. She has a Red Capes website, and what she wants to do is help women entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs that have an idea for a new product, and they will help you market it and get you money and all the problems that come up in inventing a product and getting it on the marketplace and making gazillion dollars. Because see, she was also the inventor of the Tingler. Remember that thing a year or two back that it scratches your head and makes you feel great? So she's been through this whole process many times. And the website is really helps you get money, helps you get the help, helps you get marketing, publicity, and everything. So watch this. Well, Wendy Robbins, man, I mean, you're one of the neatest sites for people looking for free money to become superheroes, right? And it's redcapes.com to become a superhero on your site. So you're trying to encourage people to be a superhero.
Yeah, get paid to do good, you know?
Right.
Right? The banksters are not that interesting to
Yeah.
me. They're not my superheroes. So the way that I figured it is that I had a hard time raising money on my own. I mean, obviously you have to have a profit and loss statement and
Yeah.
a business day and this and that. So this crowdfunding really interested me, meaning large groups of people give small amounts of money in exchange for a gift.
So you're
And
trying to
then-
help other people like do what you've done before this was available, because you had the Tingler. People know that Tingler, that thing you put in your head and whatever. I mean, this is a big home shopping success and on the television and everything. Then you came out with this cool book. Why marry a millionaire when you could be one?
Duh! Check it out! Another kind of superhero.
Right.
Yeah, it was awesome. I got to write it because I was in a television series with Kelly Ripa where I was her business coach and helped women inventors, right, bring their products,
I
help
see.
Shopping Network, and then wrote the book and like Shazam, it became
Wow.
a bestseller, which is cool.
Wow, well that's wonderful. But now I see on your site what you're really doing, and starting in February this year, that you're really helping women become inventors and superheroes with products, and you're running a contest, right? So the people who sign up, and all this is for free for people to do it on your website, right? They sign up with their idea, and then and you have a contest. The winner, besides the other, everybody's going to get the money they raise on the site, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean,
Yeah.
the way that it works, because what I realized is most people aren't good marketers.
Ah,
So,
right.
you know, they can only raise so much. They might be passionate, but they feel uncomfortable asking. But if you gamify, if you make it really fun,
Yeah.
where people can win sponsored prizes and stuff, the sponsors love it because their message gets out. And they
Yes.
love it because they're using social networks to get
I
word out
see,
on their
right.
brands. And then the people love it because they're all in a team together. And then you've got like 1 to 3 winners. So it's kind of like, instead of doing Shark Tank, we're going to do Dolphin Tank. Right? Right? So
You're
we'll
not
have
eating
those-
each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where we'll have like basically people from Home Shopping Network, QVC, maybe you should be a panelist.
I see. That's interesting.
I do. I think
yeah.
so, Mr. Question Mark.
Yeah.
But I think that's the way to do it, where you're helping people.
Yeah.
You're working together. You're using Google Hangouts, in other words, like a talk show. so people can communicate and let others know what kind of inventions they've got and ask questions. And then the top winners could be on QVC or HSN.
So you're going to help the top winners from your contest. You're going to work with them to get on these national networks to promote their idea, right? Because you've done this all before, right?
Yes.
Well, that's worth
it's hard.
tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars people charge for that, right? So you're giving that away for free.
Free. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Because it makes sense.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. And then everybody raises money and then ask questions. And then it'll be really fun to see like who wins. So we're going to start that in probably I would say probably the third week in February, and then mid-April we'll have our winners.
I see. Wonderful. But so people can start finding out about it through your site, the redcapes.com. That's plural. That's more than one cape because we got more than one superhero in the country, right? It needs to be a superhero. But what's interesting too about the contest that you're involved with the Women's Inventors Network, right? So this is a nonprofit group that helps women entrepreneurs work on their inventions. So just knowing about that would be great.
Yeah, well, that's what's cool too, is then they have their community of people and mentors and coaches, which is what I want, because it's a lot from idea in your brain, like, whoa, I didn't think of that, right? From napkin to consumers buying your product. So if we can help them, that would be awesome. And we're hoping that INPEX will be involved. Fingers crossed. They're the ones that, they have the commercials with the caveman.
Do you have an idea?
Yeah, exactly. Call us right now
for
$2.99. Yeah, but they're fantastic, and I've worked with them before. And if we get them involved,
see.
HSN, QVC, and then we have a buyer who works with Walmart and Walgreens.
I see. Well, that's it. I mean, the biggest problem, everybody knows you should get in Walmart, but how the hell do you do it? You go down to Arkansas and wait in line for 2 years,
That's right.
And that's a little tough for most of us to do. But if you're already wired in, you have to know somebody who knows who to call at Walmart for you. And that's what you have.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool. And you know what's also neat, and I love this, is that then people will get their product bought ahead of time, just like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying, hey, I've got this cool product, I need a certain amount of money, and then I'm going to be sending it to you.
Yes.
And like a friend of mine just created this piece of clothing for women who are in menopause and getting hot flashes. It stops their flashes naturally.
Really? What is it? A cooler or something?
Yeah, it's just right. You wear an ice chest around you, and it works beautifully. No,
wow.
I'm kidding. No, but it's like a piece, a certain kind of fabric that they found. And
technology solving so many problems. Well, that's wonderful. So this thing will start in February, but until then, the site's available for anybody, right? For crowdfunding. You have people who are trying to help some puppies in the world, or people working on typhoon victims, and people want to stop smoking, and so many neat, cool things. Filmmakers. So actually, this is a site for filmmakers too.
It's for filmmakers. It's for artists. It's for healers. A friend of ours had cancer and needed some extra money, and we raised I think like $3,500 for her.
Wow.
There was it was a filmmaker who wanted to go into all the schools to teach them about sustainability and the environment. And so she went around and taught all these kids, and then made a film from that, and so it's been fun. It's cool. And then we raised money for, like you said, the typhoon victims. So it's a way for, I call it power to the people. That's basically what it is. It's power to the people, so that whatever their dream is, they can get the money. They get their people together. They get everybody excited about it. And then boom, they've got the money. There's nothing to stop you.
Well, I think the contests are. I'm going to send you one of my superhero capes, see? Because you're using your talents to help people get money to solve their problems, and that's cool. And I think we need more people like that in life, And so I'll send you one of these, and people should go to your site, redcapes.com, particularly in February. Start looking at this contest, because you're going to be involved with Women Inventors Network, and you're going to take their...
get involved too. We're totally cool with that.
Oh, I see.
Women and men.
Good. I don't have to file an EEOC
and in this particular
complaint.
case, it's a product that you have that's ready to go to like a home shopping network or a Walmart or Walgreens. We'll have other contests that are more for business to business. We'll have contests for filmmakers. We'll have contests for all kinds of things. Because the other thing that we do is we work with brands and advertisers, right? To get them involved, to help them, to give money So then they give money to the winners too.
Wow.
And then it just works all the way around, right? You have a large audience, and yeah, it's fun.
It's a win-win, but actually for the little guy, it's a big win because they're getting all the help and expertise. Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Wendy. And that's redcapes.com, right?
Redcapes.com. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
High five.
Okay, now I'm sure she helped guys too, but this promotion she has is really for women. So take advantage of it. Man, you got to research this and Google this kind of help. It's going to cost you thousands. So here it's free.